You know what I'm saying?
No.
So if you can't wear white pants after Labor Day,
Yeah.
then when do you wear them? Like,
Isn't there like another holiday that marks the coming of white pants?
I don't think so.
It's not like a solstice thing?
I don't think so.
Oh.
So should we do an intro?
Yeah, we have to.
Welcome to another episode of Secondhand Smut. I'm Angela.
And I'm Paul.
And this is Secondhand Smut.
Secondhand Smut. All right, we're back. We're fucking back at it.
Mm-hmm. Did you get your laundry?
Yeah, I got my laundry.
Okay, laundry's done. Okay.
I had bad dreams last night.
Oh, yeah.
Stress dreams. Weird childhood dreams. And then I woke up feeling existential dread and just like stress and the caving in of the world.
That's not fun.
But then I just did some laundry and listened to Alanis Morissette.
Oh, that'll get it out of you.
Did have a moment. Let me ask you.
Okay.
Laundry etiquette.
Yes. Oh, please.
Apartment
you know I have a
building.
Oh, please.
Laundry etiquette.
Yes.
My building has 2 washers, 2 dryers.
Okay.
So there's 2 of each.
Right.
So I go down there.
Yeah.
And they're both open.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, sweet. Like I have a whites and a colors I need to do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do both of mine at the same time.
Yes.
Right? So I started one of them and I'm like gearing up to start the other one. And I like hear someone come down the elevator.
Okay.
And they like, this like chick walks in with her basket.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm using both of them. But it was just like, oh, sorry. Like, and she's like, that one's not open. Like pointing to the other one that I wasn't like in front of. And I was like, no, I'm like starting that one like right now.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, okay. And like walks into the hallway and like just goes, fuck. No
way.
And I was like, what? And then like walks like a little bit further back down the hall towards the elevator. Fuck.
Again?
Yeah. And then at the elevator, oh, fuck. And I was like, you know, like,
she's mad.
Yeah, and I was like, this is just like a leisure day for me. Like, I can do this laundry.
Yeah, I'm like wondering if maybe
day.
she had like a
So I was
work
like,
uniform or something.
Maybe she had like work she needed to do or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, are you not supposed to use both of them? Like, should I have just been using one for mine? So it would have taken like twice as long to get them done.
Uh-huh.
And then she would have had the opportunity to use that one.
Uh-huh.
Or am I right for being like, well, I'll just get done quicker by using both of them?
I'm of the mindset you get it done quicker.
Okay,
so I'll go down, I'll start a load, and then also I immediately set an alarm. You will not catch me leaving my laundry in a machine for longer than 5 minutes past a load.
But I've been feeling guilty ever fucking since.
Oh, no. No, I think she just was, you know.
I feel bad. I feel like...
Don't feel bad. It's
just
laundry.
Like, even like
and you're not a monster.
Not taking on the responsibility of it. It's just like, been there.
For sure.
When you work a place that makes you wear a uniform,
Yep.
and you're just like, great, I either don't wash this or I'm going to go and like smell because I've been wearing this all week.
Yes.
Peace be with her.
She'll be all right.
And I hope she's like, okay.
Yep.
But...
What if her dog like shit all over her shorts?
Oh my god, do you know what I'm like? I know. What if it's like if you show up late one more time, you're fired? Well, you know what? That means there was a pattern.
That's not on you.
And that's not on me.
Right. And now your laundry's done, so.
Yeah, my laundry's done and I've made an enemy.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Me and Maggie watched The Ring.
Yeah, I know.
And we loved it, and you weren't invited.
I know. Which is weird.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just weird. It's weird when 2 people that claim to be your best friends hang out without you and do something that they know you'd love.
Hey, you did get an invite.
I got an invite like 3 hours before, and that's not an invite you accept.
No. That's desperate.
That's desperate.
Well, we'll watch Signs.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time, but I think it'll hold up.
I think it does. I think it holds up, from what I hear.
Joaquin Phoenix is in it?
Yeah, and it's
good.
Prime
it's when he looks
Joaquin
good.
Phoenix.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah. And everything about him in that movie, I was just like...
He's an absolute would not for me now.
Oh, yeah. Now it's a no.
Absolute no.
Yeah.
But fucking 2001 or whenever Signs came out, Joaquin Phoenix, that cleft palate, I'm just like, We'll watch that. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun. I'm super into that.
Uh-huh. I wanted to ask you, because I'm having a hard time remembering what your prediction for this week's book was, which is Praise by Sara Cate. Can you remind me of what your prediction was?
Of course. It was going to be about a collegiate choir coach who lost her job at a prestigious university after an inappropriate relationship with a student, going and finding herself in a small town in Maine where she works at a community college and leads them to fame in the collegiate choir world, while also falling in love with a fisherman who loves telling her how great
Midnight
she
Mass
is.
Vibes.
Yes, Midnight Mass Vibes.
Mm-hmm.
How great she is because she's so self-deprecating that, like, when he meets her, he's like, why do you do that? And he's like, you're great. You're so smart. You did such a good job. You tried your... And then she's like wet for it. And it's his praise that drags her out of the deep, dark depression so that she can take the team to the win. Yeah, that sounds...
I would read that. Like, it's a good guess, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my guesses aren't so much focused on what I think the book is
actually
about as much as
what you would... Is what you would...
I just want a good guess.
However, and you're so good at that.
Thank you.
Well, you're a storyteller.
I try.
A
liar, some would say.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
Well, it's like, why not just embellish a little and make this a little bit better?
Yeah. Sometimes you tell it how it felt. It might not be what happened, but it has more effect on reality than what did happen.
Exactly. You know how I'm an embellisher?
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I tried 500 times when really I tried twice. Or
didn't try.
Or didn't try.
Yeah.
I just embellish. But so I recently heard someone say, and it was on a podcast, and I can't remember what podcast it was. I can't remember who it was. But they were like, the point isn't that what I'm saying is true. The point is to get the effect across so that people can understand the importance. And I was like, yes, that's what it is.
Truth is a detail.
That's what I'm doing. Anyway,
yeah,
that's not what this book is about.
Okay.
Would you like to read the back cover of the book?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to look at the front too.
Oh yeah, do. Tell me what you see at first. What do you see?
I figured out what it is.
Okay.
But what I saw at first,
I thought it was like a water droplet.
I thought it was like or what's that, like, really shiny bean thing that's giant,
like in Chicago?
Yeah, right.
It's called the Bean.
Okay. But now that I'm looking at it, it's clearly a heel from
heel.
The behind up close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that.
Salacious Players Club? What's that?
This is book 1 of the Salacious Players Club series. Oh, wait. Read the tagline.
Okay, praise. She's too perfect to ignore and too forbidden to be his. Ooh.
Forbidden.
Okay, so this is kind of this is like feeling like where I thought we were going to be going immediately
into
the smut world.
Nice.
Of like...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm happy we are.
She's a good girl. She's a
good girl.
Yeah.
Even read that.
Not, dude.
Okay.
All right. She's a good girl, but she's fallen for the wrong man. Broken down by her emotionally neglectful ex, all Charlie Underwood wants is someone to tell her she's good enough. Then she stumbles into a new job with a boss who brings her to her knees, literally. Yeah, this is what this is a good one. As an owner of the Salacious Players Club, Emerson Grant knows exactly what he wants and isn't shy about his particular tastes. But when he mistakes Charlie for a candidate to be his new submissive instead of his son's ex-girlfriend, he immediately tries to correct the situation. He offers Charlie a job as his secretary and nothing more. That's the solution.
Dude, this book is
honestly,
good.
I would love that kind of job.
Just buckle up.
Okay.
Just wait.
Yet now that Charlie has seen a glimpse of what can happen when she's honest about what she wants, she makes it clear that all she wants is Emerson. He might be twice her age and her ex-boyfriend's dad, but he's also the only man who can give her everything she desires. How far will she go to hear his approval?
Yep.
Hot.
Praise!
Fucking your ex-boyfriend's dad?
Oh, that is an immediate yes for me.
That's an immediate yes for me.
I mean, it's depending. Right.
That's have dads that I want
exactly.
to fuck, but reading that,
yes.
I'm just like, immediately, yes.
Exactly.
But I guess because part of the fantasy is that the dad is hot.
Yes, that is the fantasy. Like,
I had an ex who had a really hot older brother.
Really? That's also a yes for me. And that's like, I'm trying to find a good book with that. There's a lot of like older brother's best friend books out there.
Oh my god.
There's so many.
Older brother's best friend. It's like, not to flatter any of my brother's friends because they're not on this list, but the
idea is
in middle
amazing.
school there were some ones, but that he stopped hanging out with them because they became jocks and he became a stoner. So
yeah, 100%. The like ex-boyfriend's dad, older brother's best friend.
Yeah,
those are
it's like
a yes for me.
It's like some of them be like, ooh. Oh, you noticed me.
Forbidden.
Like, yeah, forbidden.
Forbidden.
Like, oh, it's nice to meet you. Oh, did you feel that? In our handshake?
Yep.
Or that hug lingered.
Or like the eye contact.
Yeah, the eye contact.
The eye contact. Dude, I tell you what, like.
Knees under the table.
Yes, knees under the table. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a good one. Okay, so obviously you know the tropes in this one. It's age gap, boyfriend's dad, sub-dom. This is a 4-star read. This might even be like a... No, this is like a 4.
Yeah.
You know, I could go as far as to say 4.2.
Kiss quotient's above it.
I wouldn't say so.
Oh.
What did I rate Kiss Quotient?
4.5. And you
f-
said you wanted to give it a 5, but you weren't because you're an extremist.
I am an extremist. I want to say same level.
Okay.
Well, then, because then I ask myself, I'm like, well, then what is a 5-star read?
Well, but maybe the more that you read them and rank them, it's
Yes.
like going to adjust. It's
and
like
that's
the average
so true.
is changing.
The average is changing.
Yeah.
This was really good.
Okay.
And I also gave it, it's very spicy, so I gave it a 4. It is good. Also, I do think one of the tropes is green flag man.
Oh.
Because in a lot of the like dark romances, a lot of people are like, I want a really fucking spicy book, but I don't want it to be a dark romance. I love dark romances.
Yeah.
Now I'm in it. But I also like ones that aren't stalking you and
possessive,
taking hair out of your head, right?
Sharing
and they're not
you with my 2 brothers
exactly.
at one time.
So this would also fall into the category of green flag man.
I love a green flag man.
Yeah. I kind of want to explain the characters prior to getting into it, just so you've got a picture.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, the names, I don't hate the names in this book. Usually they're...
Girl named Charlie.
Her name's Charlotte.
Her name's Charlie, but she
But
goes by Charlie.
Charlie.
Hot love.
Charlotte Underwood. That's not a bad name.
Underwood?
A little bit.
You can send that back.
And then the man, Emerson Grant. That's a wood.
As a daddy name?
Actually, I do have someone who I think looks like Emerson. Hold on.
Okay.
He's from the White Lotus. Theo James. He's 40 in real life. So this is who I picture Emerson Grant as. And the reason why I say this is because I saw a TikTok where some girl was like, this is who I picture.
And then what's his son?
Well, his son's only 20. So like some fucking, I don't know.
Like a young, who's the younger Franco brother?
Dave Franco?
Yeah.
I could, but when he was young, I could see totally that, dude. Okay, so for the audience.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah, so for the audience, Theo James now in 2024, because he is 40 in real life. Theo James.
Current Theo James
is Emerson Grant.
Yep.
Young Dave Franco is his son. And then they don't describe Charlie. Yeah, we're Charlie.
And we are Charlie.
I'm Charlie. You're Charlie.
Your eyes are Charlie.
You picture yourself as Charlie. They mention her. She's beautiful. She has brown eyes.
Exactly.
She's a brunette. But they don't, she's got like a rock and bod, but they don't really describe her. Well, Sara Cate, the author, doesn't really describe her, but I think that's because you can put yourself into that position, which I'm into. Anyway, she's 21, he's 40, so 19-year age gap. And I'm like,
damn,
40?
That's that much?
I know, which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
But I'm like, 40?
40 is not old.
Well, we're old now.
I know, but even
but 40 is not old.
When I was like 20, I was going after 40-year-olds.
So was I.
You know,
I was always into 40-year-olds.
Like, part of my brain was like, that's weird. It was like,
I wasn't. I was like,
guy.
What do I want to hook up with a 23-year-old idiot?
No,
or a 40-year-old man?
No. Yeah.
But that's our own shit.
That's our own shit. We mark that as our own shit.
We sure do.
Yeah, file that away.
Okay, so ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay, we get into it. Chapter 1. Charlie is with her little sister, Sophie. Sophie's 14. She's got blue hair.
Oh.
She's super cool. Love Sophie.
Charlotte and Sophie.
Those
are pretty good, cute daughter names.
Not bad.
Yeah.
They're going to Beau's house. Beau is Charlotte's ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
And she's going to pick up her half of their deposit check. They
lived together.
Well, they did. So she recently just moved back into her mom and Sophie's house.
Yeah.
But she lives in the pool house in back.
Oh, so she has her own space.
Yep, so she has her own space. Because she's 21, she doesn't, need to live in the house, so she lives in the pool house.
That sounds dope.
I would stay there forever. I'd be like, y'all have to kick me out.
Like,
I'll live in this pool house till I'm 50.
Just build a bigger fence. It's fine.
Totally. Anyway, so she's going over to Beau's new place to pick up her half of their security deposit. Beau is a piece of shit. Asshole. He cheated on her. He was like...
Dave fucking Franco.
Yep. He just kind of like belittles her. He's always like... makes her feel like she's a loser and she's never doing anything good enough. And
I'm already in.
Yeah,
I'm already so in. I'm already identifying hard.
Yes, I love this.
Oh,
I love
fuck
this.
them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She goes to the house, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" He's just immediately an asshole, and she's like, "I'm here for the security deposit. I
Yeah.
want my half. It's just $1,000." And he's like, "My dad co-signed for the place, and they sent the security deposit to him. So if you want your money, you're gonna have to go get it from my dad."
With pleasure.
And she obviously was just like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you don't even talk to your dad. You haven't talked to your dad in 2 years, and now I'm
So
supposed
she's
to."
never met him?
Doesn't know what he looks like,
Dude.
doesn't know where he lives, nothing. And so she's like, "Now I have to go get my money from your dad that you don't like? Great, thanks,
Yeah, sweet.
asshole." Anyway.
I would just be like, how about you Venmo me and
Yes,
then work it out?
right, like be a man, talk to your dad,
Yeah.
get the fucking thing. Anyway, she is like, "Great, I'll
Yeah.
go do that." Next chapter, chapter 2, we get our introduction to Emerson, Theo James.
Does he go by Emerson?
Yeah, he doesn't go by
I guess there's-
Emery.
I mean, I wouldn't say Emery. Maybe
I hate both of
that
those.
too, yeah.
Anyway,
It's a mouthful.
Emerson.
Eh?
Yeah.
Eh?
And she gets a mouthful.
Oh, yeah, she does.
More than once. Emerson works from home. He lives in a big, huge mansion. And so he's like up in his home office, and he's got a girl kneeling next to him.
Emerson.
And he's just like working. And she's pouting next to him. He just hates that. He hates brats. He hates powders.
Me too.
And the reason why he hates brats is because he's not into punishment or degradation.
Oh my god.
He's a dom that like just wants a sub, but he is not into punishment.
Shut up.
I know, Paul.
Dude, that is exactly how I feel.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want you to resist and fight it. I want you to be excited.
Exactly.
But I want you to do what I tell you to do.
Paul, that's what he's into as well.
Dude.
Yeah. So she's like kneeling next to him, and he feels like she's patronizing him with all her theatrics and like.
Yeah.
So.
But on a show.
Yeah. So immediately we learn all of this about him, that he's not into degradation. He's not into like the rough shit. So he's like, "You know what? Thanks for your time. You can go."
Yeah.
And then he gets a call from a man named Garrett, who's his business partner and one of his best friends.
And his sub-sorcerer.
And his sub-sorcerer. Garrett's like, "Well, I'll send another one over to you tomorrow." And Emerson's like, "Just don't even bother, man. Like, you've tried so many girls with me. They've all been shitty."
Maybe he needs a boy.
Like...
How do you consider men?
I don't think that's his thing. There's a little gay
Just
stuff in here,
try.
but it's lesbian.
Which I support.
You're an ally. Nice.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Emerson's like, "Don't bother sending me another girl. Like, just don't worry about it." And then we see him texting his son, Bo, that was like, "Hey man, I got a security deposit check. You know, let me know if you want to come by and get it." He doesn't get a reply from Bo. He's like, "Not surprised. Bo didn't text me back.
Oh my god.
He hasn't talked to me in years."
Yeah, you hate brats because your son's a fucking brat.
True that. Okay, so Charlie, she gets to his house, she pulls up, and she's like, "Holy shit, Bo was holding out on me. Like, he never told me his dad was a fucking millionaire. He was rich.
He didn't
like,
even
this
tell
is crazy."
her?
No, she doesn't know anything about him. All she knows is that because she dated Bo for a year, but he hasn't talked to him in over a year.
Yeah.
So he was just like, "I don't talk to my dad," and she just left it at that. So she knocks on the door, and a woman opens the door, and the woman's like, "Were we expecting you today?"
Oh.
And Charlotte's like, "No." And she's like, "Okay, well, come in anyway. Don't worry about it." And then she like looks Charlotte up and down. And she's like, "You're dressed differently than the rest, but I think he'll like it." And Charlotte's just like, "What the fuck is this lady talking about?"
Yeah, what?
Uh-huh. So she walks Charlotte up to Emerson's office and is like, "He'll be here and just give me a few minutes. I'll go grab him. He'll be here
Just
soon."
go in there and get undressed.
And yeah, go ahead and just take your
Just go ahead
clothes
and
off.
Get naked and he'll be
and
in
kneel
in a
on this
moment.
pillow.
Yeah.
And then in walks Emerson. I've never seen Bo's dad in pictures, so I had no idea what to expect, but it wasn't this. He's tall, with a bulky frame and tan, sun-kissed skin, his dark as hair and impeccably styled to the side with hints of white at the temples and a streak at the top. He's wearing a suit, an expensive-looking one in a deep navy blue. He just looks like money.
Fucking hot.
Yeah, he just looks like money.
This like touch of gray commercial. Jesus Christ,
Salt and pepper?
dude. Yeah.
Woo! So she reaches out to introduce herself, and he said, you should always be on your knees when I enter the room, and please refer to me as sir.
I'm like, I get why your son doesn't like you.
Yeah, right? He says, you should start on your knees, never be on your feet when I enter the room, and you don't speak unless I ask you to. When you do, you will address me as sir and nothing else. Is that understood? His voice is deep and cold, like it comes directly from the depths of the ocean.
Ooh.
She goes, excuse me?
Yeah.
On your knees, he barks out. My breath is punched out of my body. I should be running and screaming, and I definitely should not be considering lowering to the floor.
She likes it.
Uh-huh. Is he some sort of chauvinistic jerk who thinks all women should bow to him or something?
Yeah.
And if that idea gets my blood pressure rising with rage, why do I feel so randomly aroused?
Wires getting crossed again.
And she asks him, why? And he goes, well, you want your money, don't you? And she's like, well, I did come here for money.
Oh, man.
So
this is funny.
So
this is a comedy of errors.
It is. It's a comedy of errors. And so she's like, well, I did come here for money, my security deposit, but she doesn't say that to him.
This is funny.
Yeah, so she's like, okay. She goes, no, Charlotte Marie Underwood, don't you dare consider this for 1 second. She's thinking this. This manipulative bastard does not control you, and you do not have to kneel on the carpet for him. That's your money. But he's watching me with fire in his eyes. So she gets on her knees.
Okay. I mean, I would just like, I guess like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're just like,
she's
you're
like,
another
okay, I get
prick.
why yeah. So she like gets on her knees, and then he's like looking at her. Obviously, something's different about this girl.
Something's different.
So
about
you're just
her.
different.
They're always so different. If only I was different.
And
life
then
would be different.
If only I could be different. And then he goes, normally I want you to look at the floor, but I'd like to see you. And he like grabs her face and looks at her, and he gives her face a little stroke.
Yeah, one of these.
A little.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
I get this guy. He's
the best, first of all. Anyway, he calls her lovely. He's like, you're so lovely.
Oh, my lovely.
And he goes, where did Garrett find you? She was like thinking to herself, Garrett, that's a funny way to say beau. She's just like, what is...
Garrett is a funny way to say beau.
She's just like, what is this man talking? She's just like, why am I on my knees? Why is this guy... Who's the Garrett? And so then we find out it's a huge misunderstanding.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. He realizes who she is, and he's like, wait, Charlotte... Beau was with someone named, like, whatever, which I don't even know how he knew about her.
Yeah, he keeps tabs on him, obviously.
Yeah, he does.
He's got eyes on him.
He does. He's like, oh my God, get off your knees, please. I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
I mean, what is he
like,
worried he's
so
going to tell
embarrassed.
Beau, and Beau's going to find out he's a freak?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he's keeping the freak a secret if he's just, like, got someone kneeling next to him on, like, a Wednesday.
For sure. Oh, he also keeps calling her Charlotte, not Charlie. That's a whole thing. And he's just like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. And he's like... Yeah. Okay, yeah, let me just write you a check for $1,000. Here's your security deposit.
And then some.
She turns around and walks away, but she's thinking to herself, And she turns back around and she goes, well, I might see Beau again, and it would be a shame for him to hear about our little misunderstanding.
Well, Charlie.
Uh-huh. And he's like, how much do you want? And she's like...
15 grand.
I've got a number. I'd be like $75,000. Yeah. She goes $250. She's like $250, because she has the idea in her mind. She wants to buy Sophie, her little sister, a ticket to this like manga, like what's that thing?
Like Comic-Con?
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wants to buy her a ticket to that, so she's like, I know that's $250, and I don't have it right now. So she's like $250. And he writes her a check.
Shoot for the stars,
I know,
girl.
For real.
Like, think about where you just pulled up and what just happened.
Hello.
I would be like, so you're telling me you're rich enough that women get delivered here to get on their knees?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, I need $15,000.
Yes.
25.
She gets out into her car, and she opens up the check, and it's $5,000. And it's written out to...
What?
Yeah. And it says... The business name on it says SPC, and she's like, okay, SPC, what is that? Anyway, she's hot and bothered. She's sitting there thinking, she's driving home, and she's
I'm
like...
getting sushi. Someone gives me $5,000, I'm getting sushi.
How did you get that from hot and bothered?
Well, I'm turned on and I'm going to get sushi. What do you mean? I have extra cash. The first thing I want is sushi.
And I'm getting nice sushi.
I'm sitting down alone at a nice sushi place.
It's not a fast cash situation.
But I'm sitting at the bar, and I'm just like,
I'll be like, I have a $300 budget. Bring me food.
I don't have a budget.
No, that's true. It's $5,000.
I just got $5,000.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, listen. she's having dirty thoughts about him, and she keeps replaying over in her head when he like grabbed her face and called her lovely, and like how she is like, why did that feel so good?
Yeah,
when
why my
he
nipples
said
get so
that?
hard when he said that.
Exactly. And then she's like, oh my God, stop. This is Bo's dad. You're a freak. Stop thinking about Bo's dad
I
like
would be like,
this.
man, that's Bo's dad. That's so much harder.
Right. Like,
And
I picked
it's
the wrong
like,
one.
I'm going to fuck your dad.
Yes.
You asshole. You cheat on me, I'm going to fuck your dad.
Duh.
Yeah.
So she goes home and she can't stop thinking about it. And so she's like, fuck it. She gets online and she starts researching SPC Emerson Grant.
Okay.
And she finds out that he's the CEO of the Salacious Players Club.
What is that?
It's a members only club.
So he just runs like a crazy rich sex club?
Yeah. So then she keeps digging and digging, and she finds a website called Madam Kink's West Coast Escapades. And Madam Kink, like, knows Emerson, went to one of his clubs. What is this, page 26?
He's Bo's mom. She's Bo's mom. Wait,
No.
where is Bo's mom?
She's dead.
They always are.
This was a little write-up that she saw on Madam Kink's website. The SPC is a groundbreaking service in sexual liberation for both men and women, finally a place where we can explore our desires in a safe and healthy and oh so fulfilling manner. Mr. Grant and his team are real pioneers, and I hope to see this club's services spread across the country. So she's learning...
I want to be part of a super exclusive rich sex club so bad.
Money. Dude, let's just get money, and then we're in. All you need is money. You can do anything with money.
I want money in a rockin' bod.
Yeah, me too. Well, Paul...
Not even rockin'.
Paul... Here's the thing. Remember, you're not ugly. You're poor.
Oh, but I am poor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're not ugly. So she like does more research all night, and then she reads about a praise kink.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, I've never heard of this before. I didn't know that was a thing." She's like, "But I think I'm into this." So then she goes to sleep, and she has a gnarly sex dream about Emerson that night.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Okay. Next day, she's at her shitty job. She works at a roller skating rink.
That sounds like fun. I mean, it sounds like a shitty.
Sounds like she makes $7.35 an hour.
It sounds like something really bad happened in your life, and you're like on the rebound.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And in walks Emerson, and she's like, "Oh my God!" Like hides under the counter. She's
Why?
like, "Oh my God!"
How does he? Did he know?
He's been looking up on her.
Oh my God, that should be a red flag. That gets me going.
Oh yeah, that's not a red flag.
Yeah, if he's like, sorry, my PI was outside of your house.
Yeah.
Like, you thinking about me?
Yeah. So while she was thinking about him and having a sex dream about him, he was thinking about her. So she's all flustered. You know, she's thinking back on her sex dream, and he's like, "Hello, Charlotte," and he's offers her a job. He's like, "It looks like you need a better job." And so he offers her a job to be his secretary. And she's like, "Your secretary or your kneeling secretary?"
Your secretary.
And he's like, "No, my actual secretary, like for real."
Great, I'm asking $120,000 a year.
Right. Yep.
Thank you.
Don't sell yourself short. And he goes, "Can't do the whole sub thing because of your relationship with my son." And she goes, "Past relationship."
Yeah.
And so she just kind of starts asking him some questions. She's like, "So do you pay women to come over and kneel for you?" And he's like, "Yes." She's like, "So you pay them for sex?" And he goes, "No, I don't pay for sex." And she's like, "Well, how did I do?" She's
Charlie.
like, "Yeah, oh yeah."
Dude,
she's
that's
not
hot.
scared.
I
Yeah.
like her.
I like her too. She's like, "Well, how did I do?" And he's like, "You did fucking exquisite, Charlie." And like,
and she says, "Praise King.
"Praise King."
Praise King."
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
And she's like, "Well, I did some researching on your company last night, the Salacious Players Club. So that's what you do. You find people to like kneel for you." He's like, "That amongst other things."
Yeah, it sounds like it's all consensual, above board.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm fully supportive of this.
Oh, for
this
sure.
This is not human trafficking.
Oh, no, not
No.
at all. No, not at all.
And I bet the money's fucking good.
Oh, it's crazy.
Ugh. If I didn't have such bad knees.
So she accepts the job. The next day, she's like, "I'm going to go to the mall and buy some new clothes because I've got $5,000 burning a hole in my pocket.
$5,000. I'm getting another round of sushi, and I'm getting clothes.
Yep. And so she goes in. She buys, first thing she buys, take a wild guess.
Lingerie.
Come on, Paul.
Oh, pencil skirt.
Yes.
Of course.
A pencil skirt.
Sorry.
Thank you. Oh my
Sorry.
God. I almost fucking
Well, I
slap
wasn't-
you. Jesus. Obviously a pencil skirt.
Well, obviously.
First thing she buys is a pencil skirt. Second thing she buys is lingerie.
Okay, see? That's all kind of crazy.
And she walks out of the lingerie store, and Bo sees her. And Bo's with her fucking girl
And I go, "These are
already.
for your dad,
Right?
bitch."
God, she should've.
Yeah. Your dad's dick's bigger. Bye. And then I go get sushi.
And she's like, "You're already with another girl, like, whatever." And he goes, Bo says to her, this fucking guy with the audacity, I
This
swear to
fucking
God.
guy.
He goes, did you pick up the deposit from my dad?
I
And
said,
she
I
goes,
got a deposit.
And she goes, yeah. He goes, well, where's my half? I'm sorry. She was just like, go get it yourself, you fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Tell your dad I said he's hot.
Yeah. Anyway, next day, she shows up to Emerson's. She's got her tight black pencil skirt on, like a see-through blouse and like a lacy bra.
Okay, well, that's not really work appropriate.
High heels. Oh, well, she's leaning into it. She's into sheer. Like, picture black blouse, but it's like sheer. So he answers the door and he's like, whoa, you look different than last time I saw you in your like Doc Martens and jeans and shit. So he's like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this day? She's so hot and beautiful.
And my son's ex-girlfriend. And like, let's not pretend that's not playing into what's going on here for him.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
For sure. He talks about it a lot in another sense.
I bet it makes him feel young.
Well, sure.
You know, because it's like, oh, like he's the next generation. Like I have to pass the torch to him and I'm going to stop being like the big, strong man. But I just fucking stole your girl. Not dead yet.
And not dead yet. I mean, he's only 40.
I'm not dead yet. 8 years older than us.
I know.
Oh my God.
I'm still 31.
Okay.
And I'm grasping onto that.
13 days, I'm pretty sure.
Grasping.
No, actually,
no, you're
12
right.
days.
No.
It's the second.
No, today's not the second.
Today's the second.
Oh my God. Anyway, so he works from home all the time. So he takes her upstairs to the office and it's like he's got his desk.
She's the secretary of work from home.
Of work from home. Yeah, but he's got a lot of work to do, Paul. Sometimes people need assistance.
I would be on my back all day.
For sure.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, I'd be on.
Oh my God. Anyway, we would just be fucking.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, and they want to. Well, and they do.
Oh my God. Well, I would want lunch too.
So here's his desk. Okay. They're in the same room, and her desk is like in the corner. Okay, so just picture that.
That's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, awkward.
Well, I'm supposed to be on YouTube and you're just in the room?
When am I going to look at TikTok?
Yeah, what the fuck?
He basically is just like showing her around. He's like, well, do you have questions about the company? She's like, yeah, I've got a shit ton. And he just kind of explains to her, like, we connect people with other people that share similar interests, like subs and doms, watchers, people with the same kinks, etc., all that stuff. And he tells her they're currently under construction for their club, which is going to be a place where people can go to have a good time. And he's loving her curiosity. He's loving that she's not scared to ask these questions and she's not like off put by any of this. She's like, so that's your kink. You're a dom thing. He's like, yes. And then she goes, well, what do you think mine is? And he's like, well, that's for you to decide.
But I'll help you find out.
But he's like thinking back to himself and like when he called her lovely and told her she was exquisite and all that stuff. And he's like, this bitch definitely has a praise kink.
Yeah, she loves it when I said all that.
But he's like, I don't know. You have to figure out your kink for yourself, even though he's like, I know what it is.
You'd be such a good girl if you figured it out.
Yes. The amount of times he says good girl in this book,
yeah.
I swear to God. So he takes her to the club for a tour and they arrive and it's like under construction. They're 6 weeks out from opening. And she meets another one of his friends and business partners, Drake. And Drake walks up. The Drake? This is what Drake looks like. Hold on.
I know what Drake looks like.
This is who would play Drake.
Oh.
Drake is hot. It's Charlie Hunnam. He is fine.
Oh, man.
Yep.
What is going on here?
So Drake walks up to her and she's like, Jesus, he's hot.
Yeah.
Drake is like, oh, you got a new secretary? Just kind of like fucking with Emerson because that's how it's been in the past. Emerson's like, no, this is my actual secretary.
Yeah,
leave
executive
her alone.
Assistant.
Yeah, thank you. Can we stop saying secretary? Jesus. And so Drake like, shakes her hand and like holds on to it because he's like, if this is just your secretary, then she's fucking free game.
Yeah.
And she's like, this guy's hot.
Yeah, she's
in,
like, let's go. I would be like, I am just a secretary.
Yes.
We can go.
I would for Charlie Hunnam.
I'd be like, actually, we're all friends here.
Yes, let's keep it in the family.
Need to test out one of these rooms you're building, or what's up?
Exactly. But Emerson kind of like grabs her by her waist and is like, all right, let's go. Enough of that. So he's talking to her and he's like, stay away from him. He has no boundaries. And she's like, well, is he dangerous? And he goes, no, he's not dangerous. He's a good guy, but he just has no boundaries and he will fuck you.
I don't see a problem.
And he's like, you're my son's ex. You're my secretary. I don't really want you involved in this world too much. Like, I really want you to just be my secretary.
Well, it's going to be tough.
Exactly.
If your entire business is this world and I'm your secretary.
I'm like, then what do you want?
Yeah.
Hello.
Am I just a piece of furniture in your room that you're paying? Because I'm fine with that.
Well, she is. She goes, well, I'm an adult, so just want you to know that. Whatever. He gets taken off. Someone's like, hey, Emerson, I need you over here. So he like walks off. And then Garrett, you remember Garrett?
Yeah.
He comes up to her and is like, hey.
How y'all doing?
That did sound exactly like that. Garrett's like, well, do you want to take a look around? And she's like, yes, please. Will you show me around?
Will you
this
show
guy's
me?
not letting me. Garrett's not a wood. Well, supposedly he is, but he's not a wood for me. Anyway, he's like, yeah, I want to take you to one room in particular, and he takes her to the throne room. And there's like a big throne up on a pedestal, just like one little step up. And she's like, what's the point? I don't get it. And he's like, well, go on, have a seat. And he's like, imagine someone kneeling in front of you, worshiping you.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, go on, do it.
Don't make me imagine.
And so Garrett gets on his knees and like looks up at her, and she's like, we have no chemistry, but just seeing him in that position, she's like, it's intoxicating, is what she says. She was like, it's intoxicating seeing a man down like that in front of me. I said, that's right, girl. Boom. In walks Emerson. And he's like, what is going on? No, he's not on that level, but he's just like, somebody want to tell me what's going on here?
That's my ex-girlfriend secretary.
Yes.
Dibs. I called dibs in the group chat.
Yes, he called dibs. Garrett leaves, and Emerson's like, I thought I told you I didn't want you looking around and like doing all this shit.
And I thought I told you I was a grown-ass woman.
Well, she goes, then why did you hire me? And he's like, you know what? In this moment, I don't know. Maybe it's to try to get closer to my son. I don't know.
Well, I just dumped him. That's a crazy strategy.
He's just thinking he can use her to get closer to his son.
Oh, he can use her.
And so he's just like, stick by my side when we're here. You're not ready to be thrown into the lion's den, is what he says. They drive back, and he's like, have you seen Bo recently? And she's like, as a matter of fact, I saw him at the mall yesterday, and he was a total fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
She was like, he's an asshole. He always made me feel inadequate. He made me feel like a fuck up, an idiot, a loser. And Emerson gets all serious, and he's like, you are none of those things. And I'm sorry he ever made you feel that way.
Stop it. This guy
he's
is
too hot.
He's for it.
Green flag.
Yeah, green flag.
And she's like, you don't know me, though. I could be a loser. I could be a piece of shit. Yeah. And he like grabs her, like he's driving. He like grabs her, and he's like, don't call yourself.
Stares at her.
A loser. Yes.
Just crashes.
Fucking full.
Yeah.
Into those orange things.
Yeah.
Full of water.
Don't you ever say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. She's like, oh, wow, wow, nice thing to say. You know? Work ends. She goes and has dinner with her little sister Sophie, and she's not telling Sophie what she does. She's just like, I'm a secretary.
Hey, Sophie, guess what?
Yeah, here, 14-year-old sister. Guess what?
I sat on a throne today.
Well, you definitely would.
Well, I would, yeah. I'd be like, this could be you if you study hard and you apply yourself. Right. You could be doing this. Yeah.
Next chapter is from Emerson's perspective, and he's meeting with all of his friends. So it's Garrett, Drake, Hunter, and Maggie. They meet once a week for drinks.
That's cute.
Yeah. They're all just kind of like giving him shit like, wow, you found one you really like?
Yeah.
And he's just like, stop talking about her like that. She's my secretary. She's not a piece of meat. They're just like, whatever. It's just, hey, glad you found one you like.
Yeah, we're happy for you.
Yep. This whole chapter is basically just like him thinking like how he loved seeing her on her knees, and how he loved seeing her in the throne room, and how bad he wants her, but he can't have her. You know, he just can't have these kind of thoughts about her. He can't have her. 2 weeks later, we get a time lap. 2 weeks later, we're getting closer to the opening of the club, and Charlie's like reading through applications for like performers and stuff, and she comes across an application for a shibari person.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, shibari knots.
Okay, so just for everyone else who might not, shibari is when you get tied up with rope, and she's curious about it, and she starts asking Emerson about it. And again, he's just like, I love that she's fucking asking me.
Yeah.
She's exploring this sexual side of herself. And meanwhile, she's just like, can't handle how attracted to him she is. And then there was one thing that I wanted to read. It also doesn't help that over the past 14 days, I've grown more and more attracted to Emerson. Maybe it's curiosity or daddy issues or just a plain old crush, but the fact that he's 40 has become attractive instead of sickening. Duh.
It was sickening. I mean, it's sickening, but like, it's not sickening.
Right. Everything he owns is upper echelon, expensive, and even his skin is clear and perfect. I find myself wanting to run my fingers through his short beard and scratch my nails through his salt and pepper hair.
Oh my God.
And I bet a man his age has more skills in bed than a guy who's only been doing it for a couple years.
Duh.
That's the point.
Eat you out from tip to tip.
Point.
Are you kidding me?
Literally. Anyway, so she's really, she's obsessed with him.
Yeah, I mean, the way that was described is like what I would be fantasizing too. Like, I want to know what my hands feel like going through his beard.
Oh, yes.
Where it's like
everything.
Just long enough to like not be pokey.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Ooh, my own beard. Oh my God.
You turning yourself on.
No, I wish.
I know. That's never happened.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been a couple of weeks, and, they've been around each other 9 hours a day for 14 days. So they're getting to know each other pretty well.
You see your coworkers more than your friends.
You do. And so she's talking about everything. Life, her sister, her mom. She tells him about how her dad left their family a year ago. Walked out, abandoned them a year ago. Then
and here comes Emerson to fill that role.
Sure does. And then they get back to talking about the opening of the club, and she's like, she moves over to his desk, and he's sitting at the desk, and she's sitting on it.
Oh my God.
And so she's going over there, and because he's like, come over here, look at this. Which suit should I wear to the opening of the club? And she's like, do you have a date? He goes, no. And she says, well, you should have a date. You're the CEO of this sex club, and you're hot.
Young
like, you should have a thing on your arm.
Yeah.
In that moment, she grabs his hand. It's going to get cheesy.
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Does he have like rough, strong hands? Yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah, he does, obviously.
Oh my God.
She grabs his hand, and she's like, looking at it, and she's like,
I can read your palms.
Yep. She was like, let me look at your love lines. And she's like, you have the strongest heart line that I've ever seen. And she's like, you're going to have a love that's just all encompassing, you're going to have someone you can't ever live without.
She's going to be younger than you.
She's going to maybe be sitting on your desk right now.
Mm-hmm. She loves a pencil skirt.
She loves a pencil skirt. And he's like, is that what you want? And she's like, I wouldn't settle for anything less.
Ooh.
And now they're holding hands, and they're close to each other, super close to each other, holding hands. And he goes, I'm taking you to the opening.
You could take me anywhere.
You can go to my opening.
Yeah, dude. You can open me up.
And she's like, no, I'm your secretary. I'm your son's girlfriend. He goes, ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, not by blood.
Not by blood. She's like, will people be having sex there? And he's
if
like,
you wanna.
He goes, you don't have to see anything you don't want to.
Yeah, close your eyes.
Just come with me. And she looks down and she realizes they're still holding hands. And he's like, kind of like stroking her hand like this. Basement flooded.
Yeah.
He leans in and they are about to kiss. And she's like, oh my God, are we about to kiss? And they do. Normally.
I thought this was going to be a tease thing.
They kiss.
Get into it. Open mouth?
Slightly open mouth. Not crazy. But then
no tongues or like just like...
Then he like goes in to bring her deeper.
She pulls away.
And she freaks out and is like, I need to go. And he's like, please don't go like this.
For real.
She's like, I'm embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have kissed you. I shouldn't have done that. I got caught up in the moment. He's like, we both got caught up in the moment. But you're right. You're right. You're right. We shouldn't do it again.
We shouldn't do it again. You still want to be my date to that sex club, though?
He's like, let's just forget about it. Let's forget that ever happened.
Yeah.
He tries to call Bo and says in the fucking voicemail to Bo, he goes, hey, Bo, just, like thinking about you. I've been spending a lot of time with Charlie. I'm sure she works for me. And she just...
He doesn't know that, does he?
No.
No, of course not.
No,
why?
But now
Bo... not talking
right.
Because Bo's a piece of shit.
And her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Now Bo knows that she works for his dad.
Wow, drama.
Drama. Anyway, so in walks Charlie. She went to pick up lunch for her and Emerson.
Well, yeah,
we're at work.
That's part of the job.
And he's like, did you walk to get that? And she was like, yeah, I just walked to the deli. It's not that far. He's like, well, the deli is 1.5 miles away and you're wearing heels and it's February. And she's like, well, my car's broken. It's like dead in your driveway and I didn't want to tell you. And he's like, why wouldn't you tell me? Like, I would help you. The next time something like that happens, you tell me. Do you understand?
No, I can't accept help.
Do you understand?
Yeah, do you understand? Oh. Are you still with me?
God, that's the best line. Best. And then he like grabs her hands and is like warming her hands up. And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm being too intimate.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Boner
let's just
alert.
go eat lunch. While they're eating lunch, he's like, your feet must hurt really bad from walking.
Let me rub your feet.
Look at chapter 12. Rule number 12, foot rubs are sexual. Obviously.
Well, sometimes they're ticklish.
Yeah. Anyway, I look down at her feet again and they look red and swollen in her black stilettos. Pushing the rest of my sandwich aside, I turn toward her. Give me your feet. What? She stammers around a mouthful of food, wiping the napkin across her lips. You walked 3 miles in those to get me lunch. It's the least I can do. Pushing my chair out, I tap my lap. Is this too sexual?
Yeah,
He's thinking,
what do you mean?
I'm not even sure. It's just a foot rub and I need to do something. I'm still so torn between wanting to punish her for lying and nurturing her for going through that for me. With a nervous swallow, she watches my face as she lifts her feet up to me one at a time. I delicately remove one of her black heels and wince at the painful-looking state of her pinched toes. He goes, take these off. Take these off. He's talking about her pantyhose.
Oh. Oh my God.
Her breath hitches. Pulling her skirt up a couple inches, she unclasps the top of her thigh high from the garter, and I say a silent fuck me in my head. I don't know what I was expecting, but that was not it. I wish I could look away as she unclasps the other side, but those little straps hidden under her clothes are sexy as sin.
Those
and
are
I'm
not,
only man after all.
those are not real. Like, if you're wearing one of those get-ups...
You would just wear regular
You
pantyhose.
just wear pantyhose.
Yeah, but I mean the garter.
That is, I'm trying to get...
She is. Well, she wants him to fuck her.
And she's doing a great job.
She's doing a great job. And so he's like rubbing her feet, totally has a boner, and she like feels it with her foot and like looks up at him. And he's like, he freezes. He's like, oh fuck, she's like totally touching my dick right now. And she just kind of like starts moving her foot.
Who hasn't? Who's not pulled that move?
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Right before anything can happen, her phone rings and he sees it on the table and it's Bo.
Are you working in my dad's house?
She picks it up. He goes, "You're working for my dad?
Yeah, I hate my dad.
What the fuck? You work for my dad now?" And she's like, "It's not always about you, dude."
Sometimes he works for me.
Because he goes, he just was.
He just was.
He goes, "How could you do this to me?" And she's like, "It's not about you, you psycho." So anyway, cut to that night. Emerson's like, "Well, I'm going to jump your car." And she's just like ogling him. Is it ogling or oogling? It's ogling. Yeah, she's like ogling him. He's so hot. Like he took his like suit jacket off and he's like in a white tee and he's just like hot, jumping her car. And then he goes, "Here," and gives her a credit card and is like, "Go get a gown for the opening night."
Oh, a gown.
And she's like, "Listen, I'm sorry about earlier and Bo being an asshole on the phone." And Emerson is like, "Does it make you uncomfortable being here? Like, are you uncomfortable being here?
Yeah, is this working?
If being here is too much and it's too weird for me and too weird for you." And she's like, "Stop." She's like, "No, I am not uncomfortable around you."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Are you uncomfortable with me?" But he says something that alludes to like, "I'm not uncomfortable with you. I just want to fuck you," or something like that.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with the way you make me feel.
Yeah. Okay, so now a few weeks later, now it is club opening night and nothing's happened between them since the foot rub.
Strictly professional.
Strictly profesh. They've kept it profesh for the last 2 weeks. Emerson goes to her house to pick her up, and so they go to the club, and it's a sight to be seen.
Of course.
You know, it's just like, it's dark, obviously, and people just dressed up, dressed down, if you know what I'm saying. It's just a thing.
I have an idea of what this might look like.
She's kind of looking around. She sees this man who looks like he's got money.
Yeah.
And a girl kneeling at his side. And she's just like, "I'm into that." And then she sees a man staring at her, like gawking. And she's like,
"Do I know you?
Do I know you? You definitely look familiar.
You're my dad's friend."
But she can't put her finger on it. She's like, "I don't know who he is." And then Emerson takes her dancing. And she was like, "Do you miss your old secretaries? Do you miss that old setup? Do you wish that you had someone kneeling for you?"
Couldn't you just get
and
a
he's
separate person to do that while I do the clerical work?
Yeah, but she doesn't want that.
Well, okay.
Jesus, are you fucking insane?
Right. I'm just saying, like, why couldn't he not have both?
Put a pin in it.
Okay.
He goes, "Well, they weren't very good secretaries. Not like you.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't have a secretary that does both." And he's like, "Yeah, too bad."
Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So she sticks by Emerson's side for like the next couple hours, but she's really wanting to explore, and he's just kind of busy schmoozing. So she just...
I'm like, this is a work event, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you really probably shouldn't go in there.
Well, she's wanting to explore, man. Finally, he goes off and talks to someone, and she's like, "I'm going to go pee." Liar.
Go pee on someone.
Yeah. She gets to this section that's kind of like, roped off, and there's like a bouncer standing outside of it, and it's in front of 2 doors. It leads to the voyeur hallway, where there's like five rooms on the other side. They're all individual rooms, but they all have windows, so people can stand in front of them and watch.
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm going to go in there." And so he like lets her in.
I'll just scoot right past you.
And she's just taken in the sights, and she walks down to the end and gets to the throne room. And there's 3
her
people.
Favorite place.
Her favorite place. And there's 3 people in it, and she's just like watching them go at it. And she is horned.
Yeah, I bet. How could you not?
She's so horned up, dude. All of a sudden, we hear like a "enjoying yourself."
And it's that dude.
It's Emerson.
Oh.
And he comes up and grabs her, and he's like, "Are you enjoying yourself?" And so picture this the entire time, okay? She's standing in front of the window watching. He's behind her, tall.
Okay.
And she's kind of like leans against him a little bit, her back to his
my
chest.
God.
I know, it's so hot. And he stays behind her. Now, I can't read all this because it is fucking, it's salacious, okay? I'll tell you, this book, I almost want to say 4.5 chili peppers. It's spicy.
Ugh.
Enjoying yourself? I let out a gasp and move to jump away, but a strong hand wraps around my middle, hauling me against his body, his lips to my ear. Relax, Charlotte. You scared me.
You spooked me.
You seem a little jumpy. I feel like I've been caught masturbating or watching porn. Shame watches over me.
Well, you kind of have.
Like being doused in ice cold water. She goes, I don't think I'm supposed to be back here. He's like, you wouldn't be back here if you weren't allowed to. I was hoping you'd fight in this area. She goes, it feels strange to watch. They want you to watch.
They do.
He goes, no one can see you here, Charlotte. Doesn't it feel liberating to know you can do anything you want? So then they're just watching together. And he's like holding her. And he's like, do you feel that? And it's his dick.
Yeah, obviously. You feel that?
He goes, that's what you do to me. Not what are you doing to me?
That's what you
do to me. And then he goes, touch yourself, Charlotte. And then for the next, like, however long, he, like, lifts up her dress and he finger blasts her.
So they're more than coworkers now.
Uh-huh.
You know, the boss-secretary relationship has shifted.
The lines have blurred.
Well, they've been blurry, but
they've
now
been blurry. So he's
crossed.
Fully finger blasts her.
Yeah.
When they're done, she goes to the bathroom, and when she's in the bathroom, she sees Madam Kink from that website. Yeah. Her name's Eden.
Okay.
So she sees Eden, and they introduce themselves, and Eden and her are just talking, and Eden's like, isn't this place great that men and women can just come here and do their own thing and blah, 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 be free? And Charlotte's just like thinking, yeah, it is.
Yes, I've had a great time tonight.
Anyway, so her and Grant leave, and on the drive home he tells her, if you want to be a member of the club, free membership, you're allowed. I'll
perk of the job.
Yep, perk. And she goes, I don't want to go there without you. And he's like, hot. They get to her house, and as she's getting out of the car leaving, he like grabs her and pulls her in, and he goes, just for tonight, and then lays one on her, just kisses her. And she's over the moon. He's like,
see you on Monday.
He goes, good night. I'll see you on Monday. And he goes, have a good weekend. And she goes, yes, sir. Out of nowhere.
Yes, sir.
And he can't handle that, yes, sir. Yeah. He can't handle that, yes, sir.
He's rubbing one out on the way home.
Literally. He definitely. He definitely
does.
Dude, oh my God. I saw this crazy TikTok. Did I send it to you?
No, I don't know.
Okay. It was a guy, and the caption was like, when you stop at Taco Bell and then have to rub one out in your car because you didn't get laid tonight or something like that. Are men just doing this?
It's just not it for me.
No.
Like, roadhead, sure. Someone doing it for you, sure. Car stuff, that's great.
I mean, I'm just like, chill out, man. You can make it home.
You can make it home.
The comments were fucking hilarious. I have to find it. I'll send it to you. They were like, now that's a carjacking. Anyway, okay, so now Charlie's feeling it. She's like, after he finger blasts her and after she says yes, she's like, I'm leaning into this now.
Oh, it's over.
Oh, it's over. Game on.
Yeah.
And so he texts her on Sunday and is like, hey, I've got a meeting tomorrow morning. I won't be at my house till like 10 a.m. And she's like, I'm going to go there early and surprise him. And I'm going to be on my knees in his office when he gets there. And that's what she does.
Oh, God.
And so, and she's like, he responds how he responds. I don't know how he's going to respond.
Yeah.
If he's into it, he's into it. It's a move. She's like, I'm taking a chance.
Yeah.
And so he gets there and he's like, what are you doing?
It's a very vulnerable moment for her.
Very. And then she was just like, oh, I just wanted to like do this for you. And he's into it. Obviously. When would he say no?
Yeah.
And then he goes along with it. And he's like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's come up with a plan here a little bit. And
we're going to need to schedule this because I still need you to do your regular job.
Exactly. There are going to be days when you're like this.
Yeah.
And then, she calls them like sir days.
Yeah.
So there will be days when he's sir and there will be days when he's
boss.
Emerson, boss.
Yeah.
So he's like, you won't do this every day. You have to call me sir and obey me.
Yeah.
And you have to tell me your limits, and sex isn't necessarily part of this.
What is sex?
You can call, right? And he's like, you can call this off whenever you want.
I'd be like, yeah, no doubt.
Uh-huh. So then immediately that day, it's been established it's a sir day.
It's a sir day. She showed up on her knees.
For sure.
It's a sir day.
And so he gets on like a Teams meeting. So he's on video.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want you to kneel by my side while I'm on this meeting.
Stay out of the shot.
Stay out of the shot. but like kneel by my side. And then like she does, and he like puts his arm on her, and she's just like melting because of that. I guess she's just like, oh my god, his approval.
Yeah.
You know, praise, whatever. And she's just like buzzing. And then at the end of the day, he's like, what are your thoughts? What do you think? How was that for you? What did you think of it?
Little feedback.
She's like, I was into it. I like doing things for you. Blah, 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 blah. He realizes, he's like, fuck, I'm so into her.
Yeah.
He's like,
she's
I'm fucked.
Total package.
Yep. The next chapter's from Emerson's perspective, just being extremely conflicted about this.
Yeah.
He starts really spiraling. He's like, what have I done? What did I do today? I crossed a line. There's no coming back from this. Bo's going to freak the fuck out if he ever finds out.
Well, don't call him and tell him about it and you'll find out.
Well, but what if they want to be a couple? I mean, it's been established that it's a little bit...
one step at a time.
One step at a time. Okay, so now they're at the club and they're doing some work, and this woman walks in and she's like doing a little bit of like a sex toy show. She's like brought shit with her, and she's like, here are some products that I can sell to you. And it's clear that Emerson knows this woman, and Charlie just gets jealous right away. Instantly. She's instantly jealous, and she's getting vibes because the lady, Monica, looks at Charlie and is like, oh, is this your new secretary?
Mm-hmm.
I would wink if I could, but I can't. And
she used to be his secretary.
And Emerson's like, yeah, this is my new secretary. And she like looks Charlie up and down, and Charlie's like, oh, I know this bitch used to be one of his subs. I just know it.
Sure.
And she's super jealous, and she gets in a bratty mood.
Emerson doesn't
like that. And so Emerson looks at her, and mind you, this is not a SIR day. This is a work day.
Yeah.
And Emerson looks at Charlie and goes, I'm going to give her a tour. Stay here. She's thinking, you don't fucking order me around.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today, boss man.
And she's like, whatever. Emerson's like pissed.
Don't go fuck anyone while I'm gone.
Yeah, truly. He leaves, and Drake, remember Drake?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Drake,
that's who's going to roll
Charlie
up,
Hunnam,
right? Yeah, obviously.
Sees her and is like, calls her over into this room, and he's in a room with Hunter. And who you don't hear much of. Hunter's he's got his own book. Drake has his own book. That's the other one I might read. Okay. Anyway, they're like, come in here. And they're like, have one of the sex toys.
Give it a go.
Drake's like, Hunter wants to give this to his wife, blah, 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 blah. And it's like a remote controlled vibrator. He's like, I dare you to use it right now. I dare you, he says.
I double dog dare you.
I double dog dare you. And you know, when someone says that,
you have to do it.
You have to do it. So she's like, fuck it. And she goes and like puts it in, and she comes out.
Yeah.
And Drake starts like turning it on, and then he like cranks it up, and their eyes meet. I know, she's cheating on our man.
Well, they're never exclusive.
I know, but you know what? I feel...
And it's like, you got to play the field, and it's like, life's about experience.
I thought you were going to be like, it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game.
Anyway, their eyes meet, and, you know, she's like going all crazy. And then Emerson walks in and is like pissed. Drake goes, relax. She's just trying out one of the new things.
Yeah, she's
like,
experiencing what this person who's like part of the business is selling.
And he goes, is that in you right now? Emerson like takes the remote from Drake.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're leaving to Charlotte. And they leave. And he's driving to a restaurant with Charlotte. And they get there. And as they're walking in, he was like, behave yourself.
Or I'm going to crank this up and embarrass you in front of all these people.
And so they go and sit down. And he's just like, why were you being rude to Monica today? Like, why are you being a brat? Why are you doing all these things? And she's like, well, I could tell it was one of your old subs. And sorry, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
She was like, did you do anything with her today? And he's like, do anything with her? Why would I do something with her? Why would I do that? No, I did not. Then he like turns it on. And he's like, don't make a fucking sound. Don't move.
Yeah.
And then he like keeps doing it, turning it off, turning it on, punishing her, which, you know.
Punish with pleasure.
Right, exactly.
A pleasure punish.
And then he's like, you have to realize I belong to you just as much as you belong to me.
Oh, what?
Crazy.
I'm like, so we are exclusive?
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, so you're my boyfriend now?
So are you my boyfriend?
Did we just get engaged?
Yeah.
And so then the next day he apologizes and he's like, I shouldn't have used that as punishment on you. I feel like a fucking asshole. That's not my thing. And then he's like, gives her a questionnaire with like a limits questionnaire. Like, what are you into? What do you want to try? What's off the table? This
is very nice.
All of the things. And so she fills it out. And like a couple hours later, she goes to give it to him, and he's up in the gym working on his fitness. He's shirtless, and he's just hot. And she's just like ogling him while he's exercising.
Yeah.
And then they have a moment, you know, she's like, here's the questionnaire. And then like they get all close. And then ding dong, doorbell rings. It's Bo.
Bo Bo, the ultimate cockblock.
And Emerson like throws a shirt on. They go downstairs trying to be like, oh, I'm not hot and bothered.
Yeah, it's nothing weird going on here.
Yep. And Bo's like, I'm here for my half of the security deposit.
Just now.
And Emerson's like, all right, I'll go get it. Like, does anyone want anything to drink? Why don't you have a seat on this couch?
Yeah.
And Charlotte goes, yes, sir. And Bo was like,
excuse the fuck out of me.
And she goes, she's just trying to play it off.
I would have just been like, yes, sir. That's my boss, Bo.
Right? And so Bo and her sit on the couch, and they're like close to each other, and Emerson's like coming down the stairs, and he sees them together, and he's like, what have I done? They clearly should be like, what am I doing? They look better. Like, I just look so stupid with her.
Oh my God.
And fucking Bo is like,
I want you back.
Please take me back.
Ew.
And she's like, she scoots away from him. And then Emerson fucking comes down there, gives him the check. And Bo mentions he's on hard times, and Emerson gives him more money.
Why is he on hard times?
$10,000. $10,000.
What I would.
I know. Could you imagine?
Money
can't buy happiness, but
yes, it can.
I think it can.
It absolutely can.
Emerson comes down. He, gives him the money, and then he goes, "You should take Charlie out for dinner tonight, Bo." Charlie is like,
excuse me?
In what world? Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
What, are we just passing me around?
And so she's pissed because he's trying to push her away at this point. Emerson.
He's
like trying to push her away.
Whole moment.
And he knows that's going to push her away. She's like, okay, bye, I guess. And so she's in the car with Bo. She's like, I don't want to go out to eat. Like, do you want to come over to my place and have pizza and we can talk or something?
What? No, that's fuck central.
Well, that's what happens. Bo is immediately acting like a dick. She goes, this was a mistake. You need to go. Yeah. You need to grow the fuck up. I'm going to drive you home. Yeah. But she drops him off, and then she's like seething, and she's like, why the fuck would Emerson do that? Yeah. So she drives straight to his house.
Amen. Hell yeah. Confront this bitch.
For sure. And so she's like pounding on the door, and she's like, why would you do that? Yeah. He goes, this is insane. I'm 20 years older than you. You're Bo's ex. This is insane.
This is the most insane thing in your fucking life, Emerson.
Right?
This is tame.
Yeah.
This is the perfect thing for you.
Well, he's saying this is insane.
I'm perfect for you.
He's saying this is insane because he's in love with her.
Insane how much he loves her.
Like, he knows, like, this is insane because I want to be with you, and I know it'll never be possible because people will judge us.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? She gets to live with him. He's probably going to be hot for another 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Actually, if he keeps
it up, he could be hot until he's like 65.
Yeah, 65.
Yeah.
And then 65, and then it's not like he's immediately decrepit.
Yeah, but it happens quick. It does happen quick.
It happens quick. But like then it's like the investment is...
You're a multimillionaire now, and you have a club conglomerate, and you are life partners, and you have a business partner, and like you've built a life together.
Maybe worst case scenario, we transition out of Sir days and fucking and all that stuff, and now it's just companionship.
Right.
And because I'm 20 years younger than you, and you come from the world of sex clubs,
I can get mine.
I'm gonna have my little boy toys through and through, and then once you're dead, I'm gonna be you.
Yes, 100%.
And I'm gonna find a young man and invest in him.
Exactly.
God.
And then the cycle just keeps going on.
I know. Why can people have no vision for the way the world could be because they're so concerned about the way the world is?
Right. And what other people think.
Yeah.
We should practice what we preach.
I know.
Okay, so he's like, this was a mistake. It should have never happened. She goes, why would you say that?
Are you trying to hurt my feelings?
Suddenly, his body is pressed against me, one hand around my lower back and the other cupping my jaw. His face is only inches from mine, and he whispers, because I didn't expect you to be so perfect. I had no idea keeping my hands off you would be this hard. And then I walked in that day and found you on your knees. He squeezes his eyes shut, pressing his forehead against mine. Jesus Christ, Charlotte, you have no idea what you do to me. So they're just like really, they're like saying some shit to each other.
They're in love. For as kinky and like ooh as I thought it was going to be, this is a very sweet love story of two people that click on a spiritual level.
Yes, spiritual level.
Spiritual level. Soulmates. This is a soulmate connection.
And he just tells her, he's like, but you deserve so much better. You deserve someone who...
You're the best.
I know. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're as good as it gets.
It doesn't get better.
She goes, I want whatever I can get. I want you.
Okay, well, that doesn't make me feel special.
I'm practically levitating, trying to keep up with the ravenous movement of his mouth against mine. They kiss, obviously.
Okay.
And
he's eating her up is what it sounds like.
Yeah, he is. He's like, do you want this? He growls. And she says, yes, I cry. Then he goes, then get on your knees.
Yes, sir.
She gives him a blowy. And the entire time she's doing it, he's like, you're
Good
so phenomenal.
Oh, you suck the best
Everything
dick.
is, yeah.
I've never had my dick suck so good. You suck the best dick.
Uh-huh. And then he blows her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do it on his desk upstairs.
Hell yeah.
And then the next chapter, which was really fun for me, is just a whole sex montage.
Oh,
So
that's
they're just,
great.
yeah, they're kind of, they're just
now
like,
that they've ripped the Band-Aid off, it's just like, we are fucking, like, we got to make up for lost time.
yeah. So it's just like, you know, they're just constantly doing it. They've got the sur days, the non-sur days, blah, 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 blah.
They're just in a rhythm. It sounds like they're happy.
Yep.
Can we just end the book here and they're happy?
No. Now it's like a few weeks later, and it's Sophie's birthday. Mind you, Charlotte has kept her job at the roller rink. She works there on Saturdays and Sundays. She works there on the weekends.
For what?
I know, it's like Emerson's not paying you enough. I don't know. It's Sophie's birthday party. She's setting up at the roller rink, and Emerson's kind of just texting her all day, like, I need you to come in immediately. He's saying it jokingly.
Yeah.
And she goes, why, what's wrong? He goes, I miss you. They're just like being cheeky.
Yeah, they're kind of annoying in love if you're on the outside of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing? And she says, setting up for my little sister's birthday. And he walks to the roller rink, obviously.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you doing here? So he walks in and he was like, I just had to see you. I couldn't wait.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes,
I bought the roller rink.
I own this now.
I own this now. This is mine. You're fired.
Yep. You're fired.
You're fired.
Sorry.
Come on a date with me.
Yep. Hot.
Hot. That would work so hard.
That would work so hard on
Yeah.
me. So she goes, okay, but listen, you're not Sir here. I'm Charlie, not Charlotte. And there's no ordering around. He goes, that's fine by me. I just want to be Emerson
he's
with
a
you
family
today.
man.
Yes, he is. And then he gives Sophie, he's like, here, Sophie, I got you a birthday present. And it's tickets to that anime Comic-Con fest that she wanted.
He goes,
so
I
badly.
bought the Comic-Con.
I bought Comic-Con. And Sophie's like crying. She's like, thank you. And Charlotte's like, could this man be any better?
Yeah.
And then she gets kind of like a pang in her heart. She's like, but I'll never be able to marry him, and all he wants is sex. He'll never marry me because he's so worried about Bo and all this shit. She's just sad. She's like mourning, she's like, I love this man.
I guess I like wouldn't have that reaction because in my head I would just be like, he's gonna fucking marry me. I'm
totally.
Gonna be, like he's fighting it, but every ounce that he's fought
Actions
me
speak louder than
has
words.
caved in, and like the way that we feel around each other, it's like this isn't fake. Because also it's like not like they've had a direct confrontation about it or something where she's like, I want to get married, and he's like, I'll never marry you.
Yeah. So that happens, and then that night, her mom's like, well, why don't you come over and watch a movie with us tonight?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. And so he does, and they watch a movie, and it's super cute, and then Sophie and the mom fall asleep, and Emerson's like, well, why don't you show me your room? And she's like, well, I'm in the back, He's like, I want to see it. And so she takes him into her pool house, and he's just kind of like walking around looking at everything like you do. And he picks up a picture, and he's like, who's this? And it's a picture of Charlie, clearly when she's younger, her mom, her dad, and a little boy. And Charlie goes, that's Sophie.
No way.
Uh-huh.
These fucking smut books are so
inclusive.
They're like so on. They're just like,
they are.
That's so great because it's just
I
like,
know.
oh, it's not a big deal. This is just real things that happen in life.
Yeah. And she goes, that's Sophie. And our dad left us a year ago when she came out as trans.
Fuck him.
Emerson immediately gets like a protective feeling over Sophie. And then so he's like, what a fucking piece of shit to do that. And he's just telling her, he's like, you're so good to your sister. Yeah. You're just doing so well for your family. And she's like, no, I'm not. She's like, doesn't believe anything he says. She's like, why do you keep telling me I'm so good?
Mm-hmm.
He floods my body, turning everything into me too much.
He floods my body, it's a fucking chore. It is what it is.
Emerson Grant thinks I'm amazing. I'm a mess, I argue. Look at where I live. I'm clumsy, forgetful, messy. His lips press against mine as he mumbles, you're perfect. Then he pulls away and stares at me sternly, his voice taking on a darker, edgier tone. Now stop arguing with me. Instantly, my face relaxes and the stress slides off my shoulders. I set the picture frame on the shelf as I stepped into his arms. Yes, sir, I replied.
Yeah, we're in that space now.
And then he goes, I'm going to make you forget every bad thing you've ever said about yourself. And if I catch you saying anything bad or self-deprecating again, you will be punished. Do you understand? And then the name of this chapter is Don't Be Afraid of a Little Dirty Talk.
Oh.
And so after when he says, don't ever self-deprecate again, do you understand? Then he's like, now I need you to tell me what you want me to do. And so we got a whole dirty talk thing going on. And she's like, well, I want you to touch yourself. And I'm going to watch. And so that's what happens. They jerk each other off. That's my note. Okay, so now we're back. Now it's a different day. We're at the club, and they're getting ready for an auction. They're going to have an auction in a couple days.
People?
Of women.
Yeah,
Yep.
but like in a fun way.
Garrett is telling Emerson, he's like, you should really have Charlie be in the auction. She would make a fortune.
I don't think so.
Emerson's like, no.
That one's mine.
Mm-hmm. Mine.
And
then Charlie like goes off, and Garrett's talking to Emerson and talks Emerson into it. And Emerson is like, is Ronan Cade going to be here that night?
Who's that?
And Garrett goes, yes. He goes, okay, she'll be in the auctions. He's like, just leave it to me to convince her.
Well, I was going to say, we have to ask her.
And then Eden, Madam Kink, comes over, and they're pretty friendly at this point. Like, they've met a few times, and she really likes Eden. And Eden is like, so how long have you and Emerson been together? Well, we're not together. And she's like, bitch, please.
Yeah, what do you mean?
She goes, I've never seen him give anyone the attention that he gives you, and I've known him for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, now it's her turn. They just have that conversation, and now it's her turn. And so she goes and walks out there, and she sees the man who, from the club opening, had that woman kneeling next to him, and he immediately bids $10,000 for her.
Yeah.
This is Ronan Cade. And then Emerson's in the back, just like brooding against the wall, and he's like, $20K.
That's right. You fucking better outbid whoever.
Anybody.
On me.
It doesn't matter the number.
Or I quit.
Or I quit. And so we get a bidding war between Ronan and Emerson finally gets her at $75K.
I was thinking like $750,000, and I was like, man, almost $1 million, but $75K.
It's a lot of money.
I mean, yeah, that's just like a salary though. Like
a year's salary.
Make me feel special.
So he like walks over, and like grabs her off stage and throws her over his shoulder and takes her into her room.
Yeah, he does.
She's like, "Why would you do that? I'm not worth $75,000."
I'm worth more than that.
He gets pissed because if you remember, he said, "If you self-deprecate again, you're getting fucking punished."
Oh God.
And so we have a massive like punish scene. What did you say this morning about the auction? What would happen when you were on stage? She's like, "What? He's not making any sense." He said there would be crickets, Charlotte, that no one would bid on you because you're not worth bidding for. And he goes, were there crickets? And she's like, well, no.
Well, there were only 2 people bidding, though, it sounds like.
It was more than any other girl.
Okay. I wasn't there.
Yep. And he goes, how much did I pay for the hour with you? And she goes, Emerson, you can't really pay that. He goes, lie down. She's like, I don't understand what's happening. Why are you? He's like pissed at her. He's like not being nice. And she's like, what is going on? He goes, do you want me to stop, Charlotte? If you're scared, we can walk right out that door. No, I whisper. Do you trust me? Yes. Then lie down. If you want me to stop, just say mercy. Understand? Yes, sir.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm. Charlotte, tell me why you think I'm punishing you tonight. I take a breath, staring up at him. She's like, I don't know. I don't understand why you're doing this, why you're being mean, what's happening. And luckily, there are other ways of teaching you a lesson, and I'll admit something to you. I hear him doing something across the room, opening a drawer, moving things around, placing things on the bed. I can't tell what any of it is. She's blindfolded.
Oh my God. Chainsaw starts.
He's like, are you scared?
Are you scared? Yes, mercy.
Mercy. Deep breath, he mumbles against my ear. Right as I inhale, something clamps down hard on my right nipple. Oops.
Nipple clamps.
Oops. He goes, do you understand why I'm angry? No, because you're mine, Charlotte, and I don't appreciate when anyone talks badly about something that's mine.
Ooh.
Do you think I have bad taste?
This is like when your friends like saying something mean about themselves.
You talk shit about yourself.
Can you not talk about my friend that way?
Exactly.
I hate when people say
Me
that.
too. I'm like,
well, they're not your friend. Guess what? I'm letting you know.
Yeah.
They just told me they're not friends with you.
They just told me you're not friends. So that's what he says. You know, like, you self-deprecated,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. He like pours wax over her.
Yeah.
And then they do it. And then look at the name of this chapter.
Aftercare is the best. Aftercare is important.
Aftercare is important. And so that's what happens. He's like, all right, after what just happened with the wax,
I'll wipe you off and
clamps,
we can cuddle.
he's like, let's go home. And she's like, home? Our home? Together? She's like, I'm in love with this man.
Yeah, obviously.
And so they get to the house and they go in the shower and he starts kind of like taking care of her, obviously. Yeah. Then he runs his fingers through my hair, applying conditioner before lathering up a washcloth and gently scrubbing every inch of my body. None of this is what I expected, I mumble, as he gets on his knees and runs the washcloth with precise attention up and down my legs. What did you expect? He says. Well, I thought I was the one who was supposed to be pleasing you. And he goes, you do please me.
Yeah.
She goes, then why are you on your knees? He goes, you think because I'm the dominant that I can't take care of you?
Yeah, I'm taking care of my toy.
Exactly. He goes, you're mine to take care of, Charlotte. This relationship is a give and take, not a one-way street. Not to mention when we're not in that dom sub mode, I don't want you to submit to me. I want you to let me worship you.
Yeah, we're just regular, like, homies.
Uh-huh. And then she's like, then you're mine to take care of too. And so they just bang it out.
Yeah, but more, like, sweetly.
Yes, like, I'm in love with you. He says, just when I think you can't get any more fucking fantastic, you do. You keep surprising me, Charlotte. And not just with sex. You are so perfect for me, and I do want to keep you forever.
We just have to kill my son.
And he looks at her and he says, God, I wish I could. Then what happens? Okay, then cut to, like, the next day. Emerson's at work with Garrett. Garrett's like, I know she's Beau's ex, but I can also tell that you, like, have a thing for her.
Yeah.
You've been so happy. I've never seen you like this. Like, I think you really might
this is
love
more.
this girl. So then Emerson just kind of confides in him and tells him, like, well, if I choose her, then I'm going to lose Beau. And if I choose Beau, then I'm going to lose her. Clearly, I can't have both at the same time. And so then cut to Charlotte and Emerson are having a conversation, and she's like, we need to tell Beau what's going on. And he kind of vetoes that. And then they get into another conversation about how she's only 21 and she has so much time to find someone, and he's 40. Like, he's had a vasectomy. What if she wants kids? Like, blah, 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 blah.
You can reverse that. That's not a big deal.
That's so true.
But also, I mean, he probably doesn't want kids after having this shit.
No,
Beau.
he definitely doesn't. And their conversation just kind of goes nowhere, and she's like, well, then just fuck me then.
Yeah.
And so he goes, you're always a good girl.
And she loves that.
Oh, she loves that. He says it 1 billion times. Next day is a Sir day.
Okay.
And he's like, let's use this remote control thing
that we got from that weird time.
Uh-huh. You have to wear it all day. Go sit at your desk and do some work.
Yeah.
And so he's just kind of like fucking with her, and then they go and pick up lunch, and he's like totally using it the entire time in the restaurant, like in public. He just loves that shit. And they get back to the house. Who's there?
Beau.
Yep.
Oh no.
Beau's there, and she's wearing it. And
well, just don't turn it on while he's there.
For sure, it's like not a big deal. That's what I was thinking the whole time. And Beau and Emerson are kind of like getting along a little bit.
Yeah.
They're just kind of chatting. They're not really talking to Charlie too much. And then they're like, all right, you know, as Beau's leaving, like Emerson, I guess, like had his hand in his pocket, and he takes his hands out to give him a hug, and like the remote control flies out on the ground, turns on, and like Beau grabs it, and Charlie, instead of just being chill, she's like, ah! Because it turns on, and it turns on inside of, you know.
Yeah, I get what's happening.
Beau's like, what's going on here? He's not sure what's going on, but he's like, what's happening here? Emerson's like, nothing is going on. This is nothing. He's like, something is going on between you two. Just fucking tell me. And he's like, it's nothing. And she is so hurt every time he says the word nothing. She's like, I can't believe I'm nothing to you.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? I'm going to go. And I'm going to take off.
Like, I can't tell if this is just a game for you.
Totally. And so it's been 8 days since that happened. And she's not talked to him. She's not gone to his house. She's not worked for him. She's kind of had a clean break.
She's not getting a paycheck?
Who knows? I don't fucking know.
Okay.
She's kind of wallowing in her pool house.
Of course.
She's heartbroken. Sophie's like, let's just go out to dinner. And they go out to dinner, and she's like, we know that you and Emerson are together. We know he's Beau's dad, by the way. Mom and I have put it together. Yep. We don't care if
you're so happy.
Right. If you've been so happy, and if you want to be with this man, Mom and I don't care that he's 40. Like, just be with this man.
Rich. We love it.
Right. Hello. The next chapter, Beau goes over to Emerson's house, his dad's house, and is like, I just need you to be honest with me. Yeah. Tell me what's going on, man. Just tell me what's going on with you and my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Man to man.
Yep.
Father to son.
Father to son. And Emerson does. Beau's like, are you in love with her? And he was like, I've never been more in love with anyone in my life.
Yeah.
And Beau's like, well, fuck. Beau goes to the roller rink, and he's being an asshole. Like, I thought he wasn't going to be an asshole, but he's like, let's go outside, whatever. My dad, Charlie. And it's like, I get that. I would say the same thing.
I
would
too.
totally
say
that. I'd be like, my
crazy.
fucking dad. Are you for real? But then he starts, bringing up the cheating thing. And he's like, my dad's so fucked up because he's like all perverted and sexual and shit. And like, maybe that's why I cheated on you. She's like, you're blaming your dad for you cheating on
your dad would never cheat on me.
Your dad would never. So he's just being a dickhead. And she's like, just go. So that night she gets home and she's like bored as hell. And she goes,
dangerous.
You know what? I'm going to go to the club.
We're
getting to the thick of it, Paul. We're getting to the thick of it.
We're at the end.
We're really nearing the end. So she's like, I'm going to go to the club because I'm a lifetime member.
Yeah.
I can get in. And so she gets all dressed up and she goes to the club and she walks in and she sees Eden at the bar.
Our girl.
She has a couple drinks with Eden. She sees that man staring at her again.
Yeah, right.
That man gawking at her again. And she's like, all right, well, whatever. don't know who he is. Then she's, telling Eden that she's like not with him not with Emerson anymore, and she's all sad. And Eden's like, well, then why did you come here tonight? And she's like, you know why you came here tonight. You wanted to make him jealous and see what he's missing.
Yeah, that obviously someone here is going to report back to him that you've shown up.
And she goes, and he's here tonight.
Of course.
Then Eden goes, have you ever been with a woman before?
This is where the gay stuff happens.
And Charlie's like, no. And she like grabs her hand and she's like, come on, let's go have some fun.
Let me show you what up.
Garrett goes into Emerson's office and is like, hey, I just want you to know.
Quick heads up.
Charlie's here and she just rented the throne room with Eden. Obviously, Emerson's like, the fuck? He like gets up, and Garrett's like, don't make a scene.
Yeah.
This is our business. Yep. So chill out. Charlie and Eden are like just up against the wall.
Yeah.
And they're making out, like hardcore making out. And then Eden like pulls her dress down and her tits come out.
Yeah.
Just like hard making out. And he's like, I can't let this go any further. So he like runs around to get to the door of the room, breaks in the room. And Charlie's like, Emerson, oh my God.
I would be like, you can't interrupt. I'm a member.
And then he looks at Eden. He's like, Eden?
Get the fuck out of here.
Get out. And so Eden's just like toying with him. She's like, kisses Charlie again.
Yeah.
And then she's like, all right, bye, Emerson.
Oh, bye. See you guys.
She's like, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And so he grabs Charlotte and like kisses her and she pushes him off. And she's like, you don't own me. I'm not yours anymore.
You won't even claim me.
You won't claim me. You said I was nothing to you. You said it
over
to Bo in front of my face. And you hurt me. And he's like, please, I'll do anything. Please take me back. I'm so sorry. You mean everything to me. You know that. Please take me back. Simping hard. Then he gets down on his knees.
And proposes? Oh.
So he gets down on his knees and is like, I'm begging you. He's like, just tell me what you want me to do. And so she's doming him now. She's like totally bossing him around. She walks over, she sits in the throne, and then she tells him what to do, and they bang it out. And then when they're done, she's like, do you really think that was enough to make it up to me? Yeah. And she gets up and she leaves.
Oh,
he's in trouble.
Yeah,
he's in the doghouse. Yeah, she's getting him good. It's the next morning. She's at home. She's asleep in her pool house, and she hears a man screaming her name, yelling her name, and he's like, "Get the fuck out here, Charlotte!"
Oh,
she gets out there. It's her dad.
Oh, her dad was at the club.
Well, she would have recognized her dad,
but I mean, someone he knows.
Anyway, and then outrun the mom and Sophie. So they're like in their backyard or whatever. And he's like, do you know your fucking daughter's a prostitute? Says that to their mom.
Oh my God.
He's screaming at her. And he's like, I know you've been selling yourself at this club. And I know that you've been running around town with Emerson Grant. I know someone who saw you at the auction and saw you sell your body. The mom and Sophie are just like, and he's like violent. He's like crazed, her dad.
Get out of here.
And then the mom is like, stop. And he like pushes the mom. Sophie's freaking out. It's a bad thing. And then Sophie like runs in the house and calls Emerson and is like, I need your help. We need your help. Shit's going down. And so Emerson rolls up. Yeah. Bo's with him because they were together.
Oh, God.
And so he grabs the dad and it like fucking throws him down and is like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You want to call yourself a family man? You abandon your family. You abandon your two daughters. Just fucking going in on him. Then the dad is like talking shit to Emerson and is like, you're a sick freak. You're a pervert. You're fucking selling my daughter. And Bo's like, don't you talk about my dad like that.
Yeah, even though he is.
And then the dad finally, Emerson's just like, get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah. And so the dad finally leaves. Oh, before he kicked the dad out officially, Emerson just like looked at him and was like, I'm not a sick freak. Yeah. I'm not a pervert. I'm in love with your daughter. She is in love with me, and we are going to be together.
This is our thing.
We love each other. Obviously, Charlie's like, oh my God, I love that. And then he leaves, and then he drives Bo home, and Bo is like, well, guess I gotta go along with this now.
Yeah, I guess I'm part of this.
And Bo's like, listen, man, I'll try, okay? I'm not gonna act like this isn't fucking weird, because this is weird.
Yeah.
But if you clearly love her as much as you do, then I guess I'll go along with it.
I'm like, you have no say in it, so just shut up.
For real. And so then we're back to like Charlotte and her mom and Sophie, and they're like, okay, that was scary, that was freaky, we're a little shaken up. Why don't we just put on a movie, Finding Nemo,
chill out.
Let's
Shrek,
relax.
Shrek 2.
Shrek. Any of the Shreks. And then like a few hours later, Bo comes over to her house and is like, I need to talk to you. And he's like, I'm sorry I was such a shit boyfriend. I'm sorry I did this shit to you. I'm sorry I was a dickhead. I give you my blessing. And so she's like, all right, I'm going to go get my man.
Yeah, your dad, my man.
She drives over to Emerson's house and knocks on the door, and he's there, and they just stare at each other just knowingly.
Yeah.
Just like, I love you. He carries me inside, slamming the door behind him. He tries to make it up the stairs, but we're too desperate, and I'm clawing at his shirt as he sets me on the steps. So they do it on the steps. Read this line.
You're mine, Charlotte. This pussy is mine, understand? Yes, I shriek.
Yes, I shriek.
Yes.
He goes, tell me your mind, say it. And so she says it. And then the next chapter, chapter 39, final chapter. Rule number 39, good girls get happy endings.
Hello.
Heyo.
Rub and tug.
We've got a time jump here. Like a while, like probably
Yeah.
6 months. So she's been slowly moving stuff into his place and out of her mom's house. And then that night, they have a family dinner. Everyone goes out to dinner.
Oh.
So it's Bo, Emerson, her mom, Sophie. It's going good. Like things are going
Yeah.
good. Like Bo's still having like a hard time, but he's nice. He's warmed up to Sophie. Sophie's warmed up to him because Sophie fucking hated his guts because he was such a dick
Yeah.
to her, you know. But she, you know, she's loving seeing how nice he is to Sophie and how nice Emerson is with her mom and Sophie and all that stuff. That's just kind of, it just ends on a happy
Yeah.
no, they get back home. This is the last paragraph of the book. My mouth falls open as he licks across my top lip, teasing me with his tongue. A deep chuckle echoes through the dark night as someone behind us honks their horn. Use your words, Charlotte, he groans, sliding his hand between my legs. Yes, sir. The sinister smile of his returns as he rests his forehead gently against mine. Good girl. That's the last.
They're in love.
They're in love. Then, epilogue.
Okay. There always is one.
1 year later, Emerson's says, I've reserved the throne room for us tonight. They get to the throne room that night. This is clearly something they do from time to time now. And she is the dominant one when they're in the throne room.
Yeah.
She's good at it.
She's good at it.
That's all I'll say.
She's good at it.
She's good at it. But she doesn't like it. She
Just
likes
sometimes.
She likes to be his sub.
Yeah.
So she tells him to worship her. They book. I just love a sex scene in an epilogue. This
Well, it's like
whole
the
book is pure sex.
Supposed to be.
Yep. And then they finish, and as they get up, he gets down on one knee and proposes to her.
Of course.
In the throne room.
In the throne room.
And
of course. That's sweet. It's a full circle moment.
Full circle moment. He says, this is why I rented the throne room tonight. I couldn't imagine a more fitting place for me to kneel for you.
Yeah.
And then they live happily ever after.
I mean, it's sweet. It's romantic is what it is.
It's romantic,
It's
but
like
it's
sentimental.
Smutty.
Yeah.
This is the epitome for me.
Like romance novel.
Of romance.
Yeah.
But I need a lot of smut, and this
Well, it
has
is a lot of smut, and it is like, it's like good
and it's
smut.
good
It's
smut.
intense. It's like,
it's
these
really
are
good
kinks,
smut.
these are fun things. But it is still like, he just loves her.
He does. He fucking loves her. He's a green flag.
And they love each other.
And they love each other.
Huge green
Isn't
flag.
he, though?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, you don't have to be some fucking crazy freak, asshole, nightmare person to like want to be dominant.
Exactly.
Like that doesn't make you a bad person. Like, yeah, that's fun.
Did you like it?
I liked Praise. This was good. This is so far has been like the most balanced one.
It was
of,
very
like,
well balanced.
Plot, smut, like good characters.
Yeah.
Like things happen.
Yeah. I've now had 2 people read this book.
And it kind of buttoned itself up nicely.
It sure
Nothing
did.
weird, weird plot holes or anything.
No, she's a good author. I like her a lot.
Well, that was good. I liked that one.
Nice.
That was good.
That one was a fun one. I like that one
nice.
too. Yep. And then next week's book.
Yes, let's do this. Next week, what are we working with?
Next week we're working with a book called Everything But You. No.
Everything But You.
Everything for
Everything
you.
for you.
Everything for you.
Everything for you.
Everything for you.
Everything for you. Okay, I'll go somewhere with it.
Okay.
I'll go somewhere with it.
Where are you gonna go?
Everything for You is a psychological thriller.
Ooh, does kind of sound stalkery.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's kind of like a psychological thriller about a woman, and she lives a very quiet life, very repetitive. Works at like a small newsstand in the subways of New York. Doesn't make a lot of money, but she's got sick mom she's taking care of. She had to leave school, so she can't get a nice job, and she just works at the same little kiosk selling gum and magazines. But she's, you know, beautiful, naturally. No makeup, beautiful.
Naturally.
And then one day they get a wrong shipment to the newsstand. And instead of
The
just
wrong
being
gum?
the regular People magazine, newspaper, whatever it is of the day, it's a book, or it's a whole box of just porn. It was supposed to go to like a porn shop.
Oh,
X-rated. And she's like, ugh, you know, whatever, and like tries to return it, and they're like, we're not taking that back. Like the delivery people, and her boss is just like, get rid of it.
So she goes to take it to the porn store it was supposed to be delivered to?
No. So then she's just like, yeah, fine. I'm just going to like throw it away. Like, I hate that it's wasting like this much paper. Like, it's a huge box of porn.
Oh, it's paper porn.
Yeah. It's a huge box of like magazines.
Oh, okay.
An assortment
Okay.
of them. But then she like starts reading them just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And she likes it, you know?
Oh, I have an idea of where this could go.
And then one day, like that just kind of becomes her thing that she like comes to work and she like grabs one and like keeps it under her crossword. And when people aren't there, she like kind of like flips through and like actually reads the articles and stuff. She's like, she didn't really like, you know, she's not really porny. This is like new to her. She's like, ooh, this is spicy. And
Let's
then,
pretend this is set in the 90s, by the way.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where there's like
it's
not
like
a lot of phones and
1997.
stuff. Like porn is
Yes.
magazines a lot.
Yes.
So then she like starts like reading more and more and like she just is like getting really horny and she never did any of this kind of stuff. She was like very prude, very repressed.
Yeah.
And her parents were strict like that too. So then she is flipping through, she's starting to get all kinds of ideas, wants all these things, she sees all this stuff. And then one day she like gets to the back of one of them and there's those classified ads.
That's where I was
people
going to take it, Paul.
Shut up. Yeah. So then she like sees one of a guy and she's like, okay, like I'm gonna do this.
Reach
I'm gonna
out.
call him.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yes.
And he like, you know, comes and like it's expensive. It's kind of she had been saving up because she wanted to go on a trip, but she's like, I'm gonna take a portion
she'll
of
use it on this man.
I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna like, you know, it's almost just like I just need to know. It's a trip in itself. So she does it. And they get together and they fuck.
Yep.
And he knows what he's doing. He's
yeah.
a professional.
Yeah.
He gets her good. And then after that, she can't stop.
Oh, she's insatiable
It's
now?
all she thinks about.
Him or, okay, him.
Him.
Yes.
It's him. Night and day. Sitting there. Can't do her job.
Damn.
Starts stealing from
She's
work.
lost in it. Starts stealing
from work. She's buying it. And he at first is like, okay, whatever, repeat customer.
Yeah.
And then after a while, like when he's showing up, you know, she's like, we'll just have something to eat real quick. Or, you know, like, why don't we talk for a second?
Yeah.
And it keeps getting weirder and weirder until he's just like, this is just sex. Like, and then it's revealed eventually that he has like a wife and kids.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
the
just
wife
his
knows.
job.
Like,
Yeah.
this is his job. He's a professional. This is what he does.
Yes.
He has never had feelings for her. This has always been like, he thought she was quirky and kind of funny. And it was like nice that she was showing interest outside of just like
And
the
now
fleshly
she's-
pleasures.
Mhm.
But she starts
Does
calling him,
everything
and then
for
it
him.
starts to become. That's what
She
starts
loses her
telling him,
mind.
I will do anything for you.
Everything
Everything is
for
for
you.
you.
Yeah.
Everything for you. And her whole life
Ooh.
becomes that. And I mean, eventually,
How does it end? She has to die.
Well, no. So like, I mean, eventually,
kills her.
she's like, you know, stealing her sick mother's pills to sell on the street to get more cash to pay for the sex and to go on nice dates. Like she starts being like, and she's trying to get pretty too. She's getting makeovers. She's like, I need to be this to get this.
Damn.
And eventually, her mom dies.
Yep.
And she just keeps like cashing the social security checks and disability checks that have been coming in until eventually, like, it does come to a head where she kidnaps the wife.
Ooh,
and
the wife.
it's like, the only thing that I can't buy and get for you to love me is your wife to be gone. So I will do everything for you, and that means killing your wife.
And does it end on a cliffhanger?
Yes.
Nice.
And I don't know which way it goes.
Yeah.
And that's what
but
I
we
think
can figure it out.
everything for you
is about.
is going to be about.
All right. Well, we shall find out next week.
I'm already nervous for the wife.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good guess.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm so glad you enjoyed Praise.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Truly fun
that was
one.
a fun one. That
Yeah.
had not as many. That was like just a story to listen to, and
It was
not,
a good
not one to
story.
critique as much.
Totally. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. And I'm going to go eat something
yeah.
because now I'm hangry.
Me too. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.